The girl who knew me first. I was 12 when Ava Bennett first made me believe I mattered. We were sitting beneath the old oak tree behind our school, sharing a sandwich because I had forgotten my lunch again. "You're doing again," Ava said. "Doing what?" "Pretending you're not hungry." "I am not hungry." She stared at me. "Ethan." I sighed. "Fine. I'm hungry." She broke the sandwich in half and handed me the bigger piece. "You always do that." I said. "Do what?" "Give me the better half." "Because you're my best friend." I smiled. "Best friend." She nodded, and maybe something more someday. I laughed because I thought she was joking. "You're 12, I said. "So are you." "Exactly. We don't know anything." "I know I like being with you." I looked at her and felt something warm in my chest. "I like being with you, too." That was how it started. We studied together, walked home together, traded stupid jokes, and told each other things we never told anyone else. One afternoon, she found me sitting alone after basketball practice. "Why aren't you celebrating?" "Celebrating what?" "You got the highest math score." I shrugged. "Daniel got the highest score in physics." So everyone is going to talk about him." Ava sat beside me. "Why do you care?" "Because he's Daniel." "That doesn't answer my question." "Everyone likes him." "I like you." "You're different." She smiled. "Good." My brother had always been different. Daniel was 3 years older, confident, athletic, and comfortable wherever he went. Teachers remembered his name. My parents proudly told relatives about his grades. Girls waited outside the school gate just to talk to him. One evening, my father placed Daniel's award on the dining table. "Your brother earned this," Dad said proudly. Mom smiled. "We're very proud of you, Daniel." Daniel glanced at me. "Ethan won something, too." Dad looked at me. "What did you win?" "Nothing important." Ava, who had been eating dinner with us, immediately spoke. "He won the regional math competition." Mom blinked. "You did?" I nodded. Dad smiled politely. "That's good." Daniel raised his glass. "Congratulations, little brother." "Thanks." Ava kicked my foot beneath the table. I looked at her. She whispered, "Don't let them make you feel small." I whispered back, "I'm fine." "You always say that." "Because I am." She smiled sadly. "One day, I'm going to prove you wrong." Years passed, and our friendship changed. I thought it would last forever. We were older now. 16 became 17, then 18. Ava started noticing things I had never expected her to notice. One afternoon, we were walking through town when she suddenly asked, "What does Daniel want to do after college?" I glanced at her. "Why?" "I'm just curious." "He wants to build his own company." "Really? What kind?" "I don't know. Something with technology. Probably." She nodded thoughtfully. "And you?" I laughed. "Me?" "Yes, you. I'll probably find some quiet job." "Why do you always say things like that?" "Because I'm realistic." "No, you're afraid." I stopped walking. "Afraid of what?" "Of trying." I looked away. "You don't know me that well." She stepped closer. "I know you better than anyone." Those words made my heart beat faster. "Then you know I'll be okay." "I know you'll be more than okay." She smiled, but something about her expression felt different. After that, she asked about Daniel more often. "What is he studying? Where does he work? Does he have a girlfriend? Does he still want to start that company?" Every question felt harmless. Together, they formed something I did not want to see. One night, Ava called me. "Can you meet me tomorrow?" "Sure." "Where?" "The Blue Garden." "The restaurant?" "Yes." "Why?" There was a long silence. "I need to tell you something." My heart started racing. "Is everything okay?" "Yes." "Then why do you sound nervous?" "Because I'm scared." "Of me?" "No." "Then what?" She breathed quietly into the phone. "I'll tell you tomorrow." I smiled. "Okay." "Ethan?" "Yeah." "Come alone." I laughed softly. "Of course." She paused again. "There's something I wanted to say for a long time." My chest tightened. Then I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow. The call ended. I stared at my phone for several seconds. For the first time, I allowed myself to believe what I had been too afraid to say. Maybe Ava was finally going to tell me she loved me. Maybe all those years of waiting had finally meant something. I went to sleep that night with a smile I couldn't hide. I had no idea that by tomorrow evening, everything I believed about Ava, Daniel, and myself would change forever. She chose him. I arrived at the Blue Garden 20 minutes early because I could not sit still at home. No message. Ava had finally asked me to come alone. She had sounded nervous. She had said there was something she had wanted to tell me for years. I knew what I hoped it was. I walked through the restaurant doors. Ava was sitting at a corner table, beside Daniel. For several seconds, I could not move. Daniel looked at me first. His face changed immediately. Ava lowered her eyes. "What is this?" Ava stood. "Ethan, please sit down." I looked at Daniel. "You knew I was coming?" He nodded. "Yes." I pulled out the chair across from them. "Why are you both here?" Ava swallowed. "I needed to talk to you." "About Daniel?" She looked at me. "Yes." Something inside me cracked. I forced a small laugh. "Okay, then talk." Daniel shifted in his seat. I looked at him. "Don't." He frowned. "Don't what?" "Don't look sorry for me." "I wasn't." "You were." Ava reached toward me. I moved my hand away. "Just tell me." She took a breath. "I've been trying to find the right way to say this." "There isn't a right way." "I know." "Then say it." Her eyes filled with tears. I loved Daniel. The restaurant suddenly felt silent. I stared at her. "You love Daniel?" She nodded. "When?" "I don't know." "You don't know?" I tried to understand it. And I realized my feelings changed. I looked at Daniel. He still would not meet my eyes. I turned back to Ava. "Did you love me before?" She hesitated. "You were my best friend." "That isn't what I asked." "I cared about you deeply. But you didn't love me." I don't think I understood what I felt. I nodded slowly. "Right." Ava wiped her cheek. "I never wanted to hurt you. You invited me here with my brother to tell me you're in love with him. I know how it looks." "How it looks?" My voice became quieter. "How does it look, Ava?" She said nothing. I looked at Daniel again. "Did you know?" He finally raised his eyes. "Yes." The answer hit harder than hers. "You knew?" "Yes." "For how long?" Daniel looked down. "A while." "How long?" "Months." I laughed once. "Months." "Ethan." "No. Answer me." He sighed. "I knew you loved her." I stared at him. "And you still went after her?" "I didn't plan for this to happen." "You knew." "I did." "You knew how I felt." "Yes." "And you still chose her." Daniel's voice dropped. "She chose me too." That sentence burned. Ava immediately said, "Please don't make this worse." I looked at her. "I'm not making anything worse. I'm trying to understand how the two people I trusted most could sit together and decide my heart was something they could step over." "That's not fair," Ava whispered. "Fair." I almost smiled. "You're right. It isn't fair." She reached for my hand again. "Ethan, please listen." "I am listening." "I didn't choose Daniel because I wanted to destroy you." "Then why?" She looked toward Daniel. "Because I believe we want the same future." I felt my throat tighten. What future? Stability. A bigger life. Someone who knows what he wants. I stared at her. "So I'm not enough because I'm not Daniel." "That isn't what I said." "It is what you meant." "No." "Then tell me what I am missing." She shook her head. "You're kind. You're loyal. You're the person who has always been there. But," she whispered, "I need something different." I looked at my brother. "And he gives you that?" "Yes." For years, I had imagined this moment differently. I looked at Ava. Was I ever enough? Her lips trembled. "You were important to me." "That wasn't my question." She looked down. "You were important to me, just not in the way I needed." I wanted to scream, but I had spent enough of my life begging people to hear me clearly. I stood. Are you leaving? Yes. Where are you going? Home. Can I drive you? I looked at him. No. Ethan, please. You've already taken enough tonight. He flinched. I walked away. The lights were still on when I got home. Mom opened the door. There you are. We were waiting for you. For me? She smiled. Daniel told us the news. I said nothing. Dad came from the living room. Congratulations to your brother. I stared at him. Congratulations? He and Ava are together. Mom touched my shoulder. You should be happy for him. Nobody noticed what I was trying not to show. Nobody asked why I looked broken. Nobody knew that the girl I loved had chosen my brother. I went upstairs without answering. My phone buzzed. Ava. I stared at her name. Then another message appeared. Please forgive me. I opened her contact. For one last second, I remembered the girl beneath the oak tree. Then I deleted her number. I deleted every message, every photograph, every reminder. I placed my phone on the bed and whispered to myself, I'm done. And somehow, I knew that was the beginning of everything. The brother I stopped calling family. I stopped going downstairs when my family ate dinner. Mom knocked on my bedroom door one evening. Ethan, dinner is ready. I'm not hungry. You said that yesterday. I know. She opened the door anyway. You can't keep hiding in here. I'm not hiding. You haven't looked at Daniel for a week. I don't need to. He's your brother. So? She stared at me. So you should be happy for him. I looked at her. Happy? Yes. He knew I loved her. Mom sighed. Ethan, love isn't a competition. Maybe not, but loyalty should be. She had no answer. Dad came to the doorway. Your mother is right. I laughed bitterly. Of course she is. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. I didn't make it. Dad's expression hardened. You can't blame everyone forever. I don't blame everyone. Then what do you want? I looked down. For someone to admit that this hurt. Mom whispered, we know you're hurting. No, you know something happened. That's different. I closed the door. 2 days later, Daniel stopped me in the hallway. Can we talk? I have nothing to say. I do. I kept walking. Ethan, please. I turned. What? I never wanted to hurt you. You knew. I know. You knew I loved Ava. Yes. Then why did you accept her? He looked uncomfortable. Because she chose me. That is your answer? What else can I say? You could say you cared about your brother. I do care about you. You cared enough to take the one person who mattered most to me. I didn't take anyone. I stared at him. She made her choice. I know. Then you can't blame me for accepting it. His words stopped me. For a moment, I hated him. Then something colder replaced the anger. He was right about one thing. Ava had chosen him. Nobody had forced her. Nobody had dragged her away from me. But Daniel had known exactly what he was doing, and he had never once asked whether his victory was worth destroying our relationship. I nodded. Fine. Daniel looked confused. Fine. You're right. She chose you. Ethan. But don't call yourself my brother and expect me to pretend nothing changed. His face fell. I walked away. That night, I sat alone in my room with the lights off. My phone remained silent. I checked it anyway. Nothing from Ava. I hated myself for hoping. The next afternoon, Noah showed up at my apartment. He looked at me for 3 seconds. You look terrible. Thanks. When did you last sleep? I don't know. When did you last eat? I ate. When? I shrugged. Noah put a bag on the table. Eat. I'm not hungry. That's not an answer. He opened the bag. You know what your problem is? I have several. You keep asking why they chose someone else. I looked at him. He continued. Start asking why you keep choosing them. I said nothing. Noah pulled out a chair. You keep checking your phone. You keep waiting for Ava. You keep listening when your family tells you to forgive Daniel. You're choosing the same people who already chose someone else. His words hurt because they were true. What am I supposed to do? Leave. Leave where? Anywhere. I looked toward the window. I can't run away. Maybe you're not running. What am I doing? Saving yourself. That night, I made a decision. I would leave. The invitation to Daniel and Ava's engagement party arrived the next morning. Mom found me packing. You're really not coming? No. Ethan, this is your brother's engagement. I know. You'll regret missing it. I'll regret staying more. She stared at my suitcase. Where you going? I don't know yet. Dad entered the room. This is childish. Maybe you're letting one heartbreak destroy your family. I looked at him. No, I'm letting one heartbreak show me where I don't belong. Nobody spoke. I picked up my suitcase. Noah drove me to the bus station. You sure? No. He smiled faintly. Good. Means you're human. I hugged him. Thank you. Call me. I will. The bus doors opened. I climbed aboard and found a seat near the window. As the bus pulled away, my phone began vibrating. Ava, missed call. Then another. Then another. I watched her name disappear from the screen. For the first time, I didn't reach for it. I looked through the glass at the town I had spent my entire life trying to belong to. I had spent years believing home meant staying, forgiving, waiting, and proving my worth. Now I understood that sometimes leaving was the first honest thing I could do for myself. And I finally believed it. Then I whispered, I'm done choosing people who don't choose me. The man I became. I learned quickly that leaving home did not mean leaving my pain behind. For the first few months, I worked wherever someone would hire me. Can you start tomorrow? Yes. Do you have experience? Not enough. Then why should I hire you? Because I learned fast. Sometimes that worked. Sometimes it didn't. At night, I studied business until my eyes burned. Noah called me almost every week. How's life? Busy. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. Are you still thinking about Ava? I looked at my laptop. Not tonight. That wasn't my question. I smiled. I don't check her anymore. You promise? I promise. It was true. At first, I had checked her social media every morning. I wanted to know whether she was happy with Daniel. Eventually, I realized I was only hurting myself. So I stopped searching her name. I stopped asking about my family. I stopped wondering whether Daniel had become more successful than me. I had something else to worry about. My future. That future changed when I met Marcus Hale. I was working at a small consulting firm when Marcus walked into my office. You wrote this report? Yes. You found a problem? Yes. How long did it take? 3 hours. He smiled. You know everyone else missed it? I noticed. Why didn't you tell your manager? I did. And he ignored me. Marcus laughed. Then work for me. I blinked. Excuse me? I said work for me. I don't know you. You don't need to. That sounds risky. Good decisions usually are. I studied his face. What do you want from me? Your brain. I laughed. That sounds expensive. I can afford it. I accepted his offer. For the first time, someone saw something in me that had nothing to do with Daniel. Marcus challenged me constantly. You're too careful. I don't want to make mistakes. You will make mistakes. Then why rush? Because waiting for perfection is another form of fear. I remembered Ava once telling me I was afraid to try. This time, I refused to listen to that old voice. I took risks. I learned. I failed. I tried again. 2 years later, Marcus looked across his desk at me. You're ready. For what? To build something of your own. I don't have enough money. You don't need enough money. What do I need? Courage. I smiled. I have that now. We started my company with 3 employees and 1 small office. I named it Carter Solutions, not because of my family, because I wanted the name to mean something different. Within months, our first major contract arrived. Then another. I remember the first time I signed a contract worth more than I had ever imagined. Marcus watched me carefully. Are you nervous? Why do you always say that? Because Nervous people prepare. Arrogant people assume. Now I think confidence means moving anyway. Marcus nodded. That lesson will save you. Our company grew faster than I expected. I hired people who were smarter than me in areas I did not understand. I learned to listen instead of pretending I knew everything. One afternoon, an employee came into my office. Mr. Carter, the client wants another meeting. Tell them I'll be there. They specifically asked for you. I smiled. Then let's not keep them waiting. I was no longer the quiet brother sitting beside Daniel. I was building a name of my own. I wondered whether Mom was okay, but I had stopped needing anyone's permission to be proud of myself. Then the past arrived on my desk. One evening, Marcus handed me a newspaper. You should read this. I looked at the business section. My family's company was in trouble. I stared at the headline. What happened? Bad investments. Daniel. Mostly. I folded the paper. Are you worried? No. You don't want revenge? I shook my head. No. Marcus studied me. Why not? Because I don't want my life to be about Daniel anymore. That is the right answer. I just want peace. You'll get it. I believed him. Then, 3 months later, Marcus called me into his office. We have a problem. What kind? A very profitable one. I raised an eyebrow. We're acquiring another company. Which one? He pushed a folder across the desk. Open it. I read the name. My hands went still. Carter Industries. My family. I looked at Marcus. You knew. I knew before I showed you. You could have chosen another deal. I could have. Why didn't you? Because this is the best opportunity we've ever had. I stared at the papers. For years, Daniel had lived above me. Now his company was sitting on my desk, waiting for my decision. Marcus leaned back. Do you want to walk away? I looked at the contract. No. He waited. I closed the folder. I want to see what happens when my brother has to meet me as an equal. When we met again, I had not been home in 3 years. The moment I walked into Carter Industries, I wondered why the building suddenly felt smaller. A receptionist looked up. Can I help you? I'm here for the acquisition meeting. Your name? Ethan Carter. She stared at me. Carter? Yes. Before she could answer, I heard a familiar voice behind me. Ethan? I turned. Ava. For a second, neither of us moved. She looked different. Older. Tired. The confidence I remembered was gone. Hi, Ava. She swallowed. Is that all? I nodded. I have a meeting. With Daniel. With the company. She stepped closer. Can we talk? Not right now. Please. I'll see you inside. I walked past her. My hands were steady. My heart wasn't. Inside the conference room, Marcus was already waiting. Daniel entered a minute later. He stopped when he saw me. What are you doing here? I looked up. Working. He stared at Marcus. Why is he here? Marcus answered calmly. Because he's leading our side of the acquisition. Daniel looked back at me. You're serious? Very. You own a company? I do. He laughed nervously. You never told me. You stopped asking. The door opened. My father walked in. He looked at me, then froze. Ethan? Hi, Dad. He stared at me for several seconds. You're really here? Yes. What happened to you? I almost smiled. I grew up. My mother entered behind him. The moment she saw me, her eyes filled with tears. Oh, Ethan. She rushed toward me and hugged me. I stood still for a second before returning the embrace. I missed you, she whispered. I know. Why didn't you come home? I wasn't ready. She pulled back. You look so different. I feel different. Dad looked at the documents on the table. This is your company? Yes. You built this with Marcus. He looked at Marcus. You knew? Marcus nodded. My father turned back to me. I had no idea. I didn't tell anyone. Daniel dropped into his chair. This doesn't make sense. I looked at him. What doesn't? You're acquiring us? Our company is considering an acquisition. You know this is family. I know. You can't be serious. I am. My mother looked between us. Can we stop treating this like a war? I answered quietly. It isn't a war for me. Daniel stared at me. You really don't hate me? I did. His face tightened. But not anymore. Why? Because hate kept me connected to you. Nobody spoke. After the meeting, I stepped into the hallway. Ava was waiting. Ethan, I stopped. What? I need to talk to you. You said that earlier. I wasn't brave enough then. I sighed. 5 minutes. She nodded. We walked into an empty room. She closed the door. I've thought about you. I believe you. Do you ever think about me? Sometimes. Her eyes brightened. Really? When something reminds me of who I used to be. Her smile disappeared. That hurts. I wasn't trying to hurt you. You don't even sound angry. I'm not. Why? I looked at her. Because anger requires energy. She lowered her eyes. I deserve your anger. Maybe. I hurt you. Yes. I chose Daniel. Yes. I thought he could give me a better future. I remember. I was wrong. I stayed silent. She whispered, You really don't feel anything anymore? I looked at her for a long moment. I feel sorry for the man I was when I needed you. Her eyes filled with tears. You loved me that much. I did. And now I love the life I built without you. She covered her mouth. I never thought you'd become this. Neither did I. Are you happy? Yes. Without me? Yes. She nodded slowly. For the first time, I saw something break behind her eyes. Not love, regret. She whispered, I thought you'd always be waiting. I was. For how long? Until I learned I deserve more than waiting. She looked away. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. I opened the door. Ethan? I turned. Can we ever be friends? I shook my head. Maybe someday. Why not now? Because I'm still protecting the life I worked so hard to build. She nodded. I walked away. Behind me, I heard her crying. I didn't turn around. For the first time, walking away didn't feel like losing her. It felt like choosing myself. The truth behind her choice. I thought the hardest part of returning home was seeing Ava again. I was wrong. The hardest part was learning why she had left me. A week after the acquisition meeting, Ava called. Ethan, can I ask you something? What is it? Did you know Daniel was having money problems? No. I found some documents. What kind? Loans, private debts, transfers from the company. Are you sure? Yes. I checked everything I could. Why are you telling me? Because I think I was lied to. So do I. 2 days later, Sophie asked to meet me. Sophie had married Daniel after I left town. I barely knew her, but she looked exhausted when she sat across from me. I owe you an apology, she said. For what? For staying quiet. About Daniel? She nodded. He has been manipulating people for years. How? He tells everyone what they want to hear. When something goes wrong, he finds someone else to blame. Why didn't you leave? I tried. What stopped you? I kept thinking I could change him. Sophie placed a folder on the table. I found these after he started hiding things from me. I opened it. Emails, financial records, private messages. Then I saw Ava's name. My stomach tightened. What is this? Sophie looked away. Read the messages. I did. Daniel had written to Ava before she chose him. You deserve someone who can give you more than Ethan ever could. I read the sentence twice. Then another message appeared. He'll always hold you back. You know that. My hands started shaking. There were more. You can't build the life you want with him. I closed the folder. He did this? Sophie nodded. He knew you loved Ava. How do you know? Because he told me. I stood. What else did he say? He said he couldn't stand watching you have something he wanted. I felt my fists tighten. What did he want? Sophie looked directly at me. To win. I left without another word. I found Daniel in his office that evening. He looked up. What are you doing here? I closed the door. We need to talk. About the acquisition? No. He leaned back. Then what? I threw the folder onto his desk. Explain this. His face changed. Where did you get that? Answer me. He opened the folder. You wrote these messages to Ava. Yes. You told her I wasn't good enough. I believed it. You told her she needed you. I did. Why? He looked at me. Because I couldn't stand you having something I didn't. I felt my fist tighten. You're my brother. I know. You knew I loved her. I knew. And you deliberately took her from me. His voice cracked. She chose me. After you convinced her I wasn't enough. He looked down. I wanted to win. Win what? You. I stared at him. This was never about Ava. He shook his head. Not completely. Did you even love her? I cared about her. That isn't an answer. He swallowed. I loved what it meant to have her choose me. I stepped back. For years, I had imagined revenge. Now that I finally had the truth, revenge felt empty. You destroyed your own life. Daniel looked at me. Are you going to destroy me too? No. Why? Because I don't need to. He frowned. What does that mean? It means your decisions will speak for themselves. I turned toward the door. Ethan. I stopped. I'm sorry. I looked back. I wanted you to lose. You did. He looked surprised. Then I added, but you lost something too. What? Your brother. I left. That night, Ava came to my apartment. Her eyes were red. You knew. I stared at her. About Daniel? She nodded. I found out today. She covered her face. He lied to me. Yes. He made me believe you weren't enough. Yes. I chose him because I believed him. I know. She looked at me through tears. Our entire relationship. She could barely finish. It was built on a lie. I didn't answer. She whispered, I betrayed you because I trusted the person who betrayed me first. That doesn't make what happened right. I know. She wiped her tears. I finally understand. Understand what? Why you couldn't look back. I looked toward the window. I didn't leave because I stopped caring. Then why? Because I finally care about myself. She lowered her head, and for the first time, Ava understood that the man she had chosen had never won my place. He had only helped me leave it. Too late to apologize. Ava came to my apartment on a rainy evening. When I opened the door, I immediately knew something was wrong. Can I come in? I stepped aside. She walked in slowly. I don't know where to start. Then start with why you're here. She looked at me. I need to apologize. You already did. No, not really. She sat down and wiped her eyes. I made the biggest mistake of my life. I remained standing. Why? Because I chose Daniel. I know. No, Ethan. I need you to understand why. I sat across from her. Then tell me. She took a shaky breath. I thought Daniel was everything I needed. Success? Yes. Security? Yes. A better future? She nodded. I thought you were too quiet. Too careful. I thought life with you would always feel small. I looked down, and Daniel, he made everything feel exciting. Until it didn't. She nodded. I confused excitement with love. I stayed silent. She continued. I thought money could protect me. I thought status could make me happy. I thought choosing the stronger person meant choosing the better life. And now I know I was wrong. Her voice broke. I lost a person who actually loved me. I looked at her. You didn't just lose me. I know. You chose to leave. I know. You knew what it would do to me. I know. She covered her face. I hate myself for it. I finally spoke. I don't want you to hate yourself. She looked up. Why? Because I don't want to carry your guilt too. She stared at me. You've changed. I had to. Because of me? Partly. She lowered her eyes. Can we start over? The question hit somewhere deep inside me. For 1 second, I saw the girl beneath the oak tree. I remembered her sharing her lunch with me. I remembered her voice saying, maybe something more someday. I remembered every promise, every birthday, every late-night conversation. Every night, I had wished she would come back. A small part of me wanted to say yes, but I had spent years building a life without her. I forgive you, I said, her eyes filled with tears. Really? Yes. Then maybe we can... But I can't love you the way I once did. Her face fell. Why? Because that version of me doesn't exist anymore. You stopped loving me? I stopped needing you. She began crying. I would do anything to change the past. I know. Please believe me. I do. Then why can't you give me another chance? Because forgiveness isn't a doorway back into my life. She stared at me. I don't understand. It means I can forgive you without choosing you again. She wiped her tears. If I had chosen you back then, would you still love me? I took a slow breath. Maybe, but you didn't, and I had to become someone who could live without that answer. She looked away. I thought you'd wait forever. I did. For me? For the person I thought you were. Her shoulders shook. I am sorry. I know. I wish I could undo everything. You can't. I know. The room became quiet. Finally, she stood. I guess this is goodbye. I looked at her. Maybe. She walked toward the door. Then she stopped. Are you happy? I smiled faintly. Yes. Without me? Yes. She nodded, crying again. I wanted you to be happy. I am. Even after everything? Especially after everything. She opened the door. Before leaving, she turned back. Do you hate me? No. Then what do you feel? I thought about it. Gratitude. She looked confused. For what? For teaching me that loving someone doesn't mean losing myself. She nodded slowly. Then she walked away. I closed the door. For the first time, I didn't feel abandoned. I felt free. I had forgiven Ava. But I had finally forgiven myself too, for waiting, for begging, and for believing her choice decided my worth. The past still hurt. It just didn't control me anymore. The last thing I owed my brother. The truth finally exploded in public. I was sitting in my office when Marcus called. Turn on the news. I did. Carter Industries was collapsing. Hidden debts, false reports, and reckless investments were being exposed one after another. Marcus asked, do you want to get involved? No, you could take control. I don't want control. By evening, Dad called. Ethan, what did Daniel do? I don't know everything. You know enough. I know. Your brother lied to us. I know. Mom came on the phone. Please come home. I drove there. Dad was standing in the living room, holding a stack of papers. He had millions in debt. Daniel sat silently. Dad shouted, how could you do this to us? Daniel whispered, I thought I could fix it. You kept lying. I was scared. Mom began crying. I looked at Daniel. He finally met my eyes. Ethan, can I talk to you? I nodded. We went outside. Daniel stood beside the car. You came expecting revenge? He looked down. Maybe. I could destroy you. I know. I could expose everything. I know. But I'm not going to. He looked at me. Why? Because I refuse to become the kind of man who destroys people simply because they hurt me. Daniel's eyes filled with tears. After everything I did? After everything. I don't understand. You don't have to. He shook his head. You should hate me. I used to. What changed? I stopped competing with you. He looked away. I was jealous of you. I said nothing. For years, he continued, everyone thought I was confident. I wasn't. Why? Because I was terrified you'd become better than me. I stared at him. You had everything. I had attention. You had something I couldn't buy. What? Peace. He wiped his face. When Ava loved you, I couldn't stand it. You wanted to win. Yes. Even if you destroyed us? Yes. He lowered his head. I thought if I beat you once, I'd finally feel like I mattered. I stepped closer. Daniel, you matter before any of that. He looked at me. Then why did I never believe it? Because you were too busy comparing yourself to me. He began crying. I am sorry. I know. Will you help me? I paused. I'll help you tell the truth. Why? Because you need to face what you did. And after that, whatever happens, you accept it. He nodded. Thank you. I looked toward the house. I am not saving you from consequences. I understand. I am giving you one chance to stop running. He nodded again. For the first time in my life, I didn't see Daniel as a brother I needed to defeat. I saw him as a man who had been fighting a battle that existed only inside his own head. Before we went inside, Daniel stopped me. Do you think Dad will ever forgive me? I don't know. Do you forgive me? I looked at him. Yes. He looked surprised. You mean that? Yes. But forgiveness doesn't erase consequences. I know. You'll have to rebuild everything. I will. And don't do it to prove something to me. He nodded. I'll do it because I have to become someone I can respect. That is enough. When we entered the house, Dad looked at us. What happened? Daniel stepped forward. I need to tell you everything. Dad's face hardened. Everything. No more excuses. Mom wiped her eyes. I stayed while Daniel began speaking. For once, I didn't defend him, attack him, or compete with him. I listened. When truth came out, nobody celebrated. There was pain, anger, and responsibility. But it was honest. And honesty is first step toward rebuilding what pride destroyed. I realized I never needed to defeat my brother. I only needed to stop competing with him. That was the last thing I owed Daniel, and the first thing I owed myself. She couldn't look me in the eyes. A year changed more than I expected. My company no longer needed Marcus to guide every decision. I had built something that could stand on its own. One evening, Dad called me. Can you come for dinner? I can. Mom answered from beside him. Your father cooked. I laughed. That sounds dangerous. Dad said, I heard that. For the first time in years, dinner felt normal. After we ate, Mom looked at me. Can I ask you something? Sure. Did we fail you? I became quiet. Dad looked down. I finally answered. Yes. Mom's eyes filled with tears. How? I felt invisible. Dad whispered. Ethan, I wasn't asking you to love Daniel less. I just wanted you to notice me too. Mom reached across the table. I am sorry. Dad nodded. So am I? I looked at both of them. I don't want to live in the past. We don't either, Mom said. Then let's start here. Dad smiled. Here. Daniel was rebuilding his life too. One afternoon, he called me. I got a job. That's good. It isn't impressive. Doesn't matter. I actually like it. Then it's impressive enough. He laughed. I'm learning. So am I. We didn't talk every day. We didn't need to. For the first time, being brothers didn't mean competing. Ava had left the city months earlier. I didn't ask where she went. I didn't need to. Then, 1 year later, I attended a charity event for a children's foundation. Marcus stood beside me. You know anyone here? Some. Ready? Always. I walked into the ballroom. Then I saw her. Ava. She stood across the room. Our eyes met. She immediately looked away. I felt no anger, no excitement, just recognition. After a few minutes, she approached me. Hi, Ethan. Hi, Ava. You look well. So do you. She smiled faintly. Can we talk? Sure. We stepped onto the balcony. She looked at the city. I heard your company is doing very well. It is. I'm happy for you. Thank you. She took a breath. I wasn't sure I should come over. Why? Because I don't think I can look you in the eyes without remembering everything. I looked at her. You don't have to feel ashamed. I do. Why? Because I finally understand what I threw away. I stayed quiet. She continued. I thought I wanted success. You did. I thought Daniel was the future. You believed that. I thought you would always be there. I nodded. That was your mistake. I know. She looked at me. Are you happy? Yes. Really, Really? Without me? I smiled, especially without needing you. She laughed softly through tears. I deserve that. No, you deserved honesty. She looked down. I hope you find someone. I already found someone. Her eyes widened. Who? I smiled. Myself. She laughed and cried at the same time. That sounds like something you would say now. It took me years to become this person. I wish I had known. You knew me. No, I knew the version of you who waited for me. Her words stayed with me. After a moment, she whispered, I hope you're happy for the rest of your life. I hope you are too. Goodbye, Ethan. Goodbye, Ava. I walked away. She didn't follow me. Outside the building, the night air felt cool against my face. I stood alone on the steps. Once, being alone had terrified me. I had thought loneliness meant nobody had chosen me. Now I understood something different. Being alone could mean I had finally chosen myself. Ava didn't lose me when she chose my brother. I lost myself when I begged her to choose me. I found myself when I finally walked away. I looked at the city lights and smiled. Years ago, she chose my brother over me. Years later, she couldn't look me in the eyes. But by then, I wasn't waiting for her to regret losing me. I had already learned how to live without her.